What's going on, guys? CGG Matt back. Honestly, I just watched Kawhi Leonard's best playoff game in years, it feels like, and I feel like I had to come on here and talk about it. We will start with the Knicks-Pistons game, though, because I don't want to talk about this recap of basketball without talking about the first game. You can't talk about what happened latest without talking what happened earliest. I have no idea what I'm saying. It's close to 1 a.m. right now for me. Either way, Kawhi Leonard, amazing, but we'll go back and we'll talk about the Knicks game first. That was a kind of a fun game, but also... I don't know how else to describe it. It felt like neither team should have won that one. Nah, Cade Cunningham was actually incredible, to be quite honest with you. I'm turning on my brightness, sorry. He only had 3 assists, but it felt like he was moving the ball well. He was scoring the ball damn near at will. Late game, it was Dennis Schroeder. I mean, I didn't see that coming. He had a big 3 in the corner late. He had some free throws late. I think he missed the first one, but he made the second one. Either way, it was to make it a 4-point game. Dennis Schroeder really helped them win this game, honestly. And I said it after the last game. The Pistons look like a team that was a one-man army. And today, you finally got a guy to show up in the second half of the game with Cade Cunningham. It was Dennis Schroeder. Also, I got to give shout-outs where it's due. Shout out to Paul Reed, bro. Paul Reed. I wasn't sure what was going to happen after the Beef Stew injury, if Beef Stew wasn't playing. I said it in the last video. Last night, whatever, and I was like, yeah, man, no Isaiah Stewart. Where's that physicality going to come from? Who's the backup big even going to be? Paul freaking Reed, bro. B-ball Paul. I don't want to be that guy. The Pistons did shoot a lot of free throws tonight. Most of them were warranted, I'll say. I don't like being one of those guys that's like, oh, they were flopping, blah, blah, blah. I don't like blaming officiating for a loss either. That's something I think is very, very lame and that the NBA community does too often. But realistically, Detroit shot a lot of free throws today, and there's nothing wrong with that because the Knicks shot a lot of free throws in the last game as well. So, I don't know. Either way, in late game, the Knicks were trying to get to the free throw line, honestly. Brunson, late game, had a 3, but instead he chose to jump into the defender to get the 3 free throws. Ain't nothing wrong with that, bro. Free points are free points, but I think he missed the third one. Shout out to New York. Jalen Brunson went 9 of 11 from the free throw line. Once again, it was Mitchell Robinson for the Knicks, who was a key contributor off the bench. Cameron Payne, no, wasn't it today. I didn't expect to get a series of Cameron Payne. No Knicks fan, no basketball watcher should have thought Cam Payne was going to be a 5-6 game show-up type guy, a guy who takes over the series. I didn't see that coming, but Mitchell Robinson putting together back-to-back really good games, strong games for Mitch, to the point where Karl Anthony Towns was a negative plus-minus. Honestly, it's not like that if you watch the game again. Cat was kind of Cat, but Cat wasn't as physical inside as I wanted to see, especially when Paul Reed was in the game. I don't know if Cat was in the game at the same time as Paul Reed. I don't think so. But if Paul Reed is guarding Karl Anthony Towns, Cat's got to be aggressive. That's not a knock on Paul Reed, but he's kind of an undersized big man. Cat's got him height and weight-wise, I believe. So he's definitely got to be more physical. But shout out to Mitchell Robinson. He's really hustling in this series. I like to see that. Deuce hit a big 3 late. Deuce McBride off the bench. He had a big 3. A couple of guys hit big shots for the Knicks to try and cut into that lead late. Mikal Bridges hit a shot, but he also had another look from the top of the key for 3 that was off. That's tough considering that's not. I wouldn't say he was terrible today, but that's like back-to-back not great games for Mikal Bridges. And then on the Detroit side, like Tobias Harris hit a couple of big shots. He had a wide open 3 on a pass from Cade late in that game, and he fumbled it. Sure, the pass was low. It hit both of Tobias's hands. And if this is the NFL, you know what they say in the NFL, if it hits your hands, you got to catch it. Obviously, it's not always the case, but in the NBA, I'm going to be honest, if it hits both your hands, you should probably catch that pass. Really, the Pistons won that game on offensive rebounding as well. They had like 9 or 10 offensive rebounds, which is quite a lot. And especially for a Pistons team without Isaiah Stewart, and Jalen Duren wasn't necessarily playing the best basketball. He had a lob dunk late in that game as well that really helped put the game away. But overall, he wasn't playing his best basketball, but they still ended up with more offensive rebounds than the Knicks. And when neither team was really making their shots at a high clip, let me just check to make sure that to verify that information. 44.5 for the Pistons, 42 for the Knicks. From 3 was disgusting both ways. Knicks shot 28% to the Pistons 22. Oh my God. Yeah, when neither team's making their shots, offensive rebounding is what you need to do because it buys you second chances. And hey, if you're not making the shots that you are getting, getting more of them will help you. They actually had 12 offensive rebounds. I thought it was like 10. It was 12. That's a good amount of offensive rebounds. And 4 of them from Jalen Duren. Although I said Jalen Duren didn't play his best, I really will stand on that. I don't think Jalen Duren was playing his best today. But 4 offensive rebounds is legit work. Asar Thompson fouled out late in that game. I thought that was going to do them in. That lead was shrinking, and then Asar fouled out, and I was like, oh no, here come the Knicks. And they were able to just kind of tie it together. Malik Beasley had a chance to end that game early, put it to bed early, and he missed a corner 3. Plenty of things from that game that I'm like, you know what? That's a good building block if you're Detroit. Like Cade having a really good game when after the first game, it looked like he was just young and he hadn't been there before, and he hasn't. So it makes sense for him to struggle. But honestly, he looked more comfortable out there against an OG Anunoby. And overall, it really helped that the Knicks bench, like Cameron Payne, didn't come out and just blow up. Or OG didn't really have a great game. How many points did OG have? I don't think it was that many. 10. Yeah, OG had a tremendous game 1 scoring. Game 2, not so much. So you know what I mean? It was a kind of the role players for the Knicks kind of faded back a little bit today. And all of a sudden, Detroit looks a little bit stronger. Who'd have thought? Shout out to my guy Ron Holland for getting 5 playoff minutes. Good to see. I like to see that. Although it's not like his 5 minutes won them the game or anything like that. He held his own. Good for him. Nice Harris looked a little bit better today. I said in the second half of last game, he kind of faded into nothing and was kind of a net negative late in that game. But he ended up having an all right game today. Hit a couple of mid-ranges from what I remember, maybe 1 or 2. So realistically, all around pretty good game for Detroit. It's what they wanted. They want low scoring. They want it to be a fight. And that's what they got today. Still too many turnovers for Detroit. But I guess if you could survive, 15 turnovers ain't going to kill you if you win the game. But the Knicks had 14 of them. So I don't know. All around weird game. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't a pretty win. But it's the NBA playoffs. And guess what? Not all wins are going to be pretty. But as long as it's chalked up as a W, what do you got to do? You just take it. All right, now we can go talk about the one that just ended, the Clippers versus the Nuggets. Kawhi. Kawhi. What else can I say? He hit a 3 late from the corner. He hit a fadeaway. Also, there's some stuff I want to get into with Denver, but we could start with the Clippers. Harden didn't have a great game. The box score may tell you it wasn't that bad. I honestly, I didn't even notice him. I really didn't. He hit a big 3 late from what I remember, but either way, it wasn't his strongest self. Norman Powell, I noticed a lot late in that game. A couple of push shots in the lane, some floaters, and a big corner 3, which kind of segues me into the Michael Porter Jr. bit, but I don't know. I kind of don't want to talk about that yet. Zubats was very good defensively against Jokic. He only finished with 5 fouls. Thank God that game didn't end up going to overtime, because if it did, Zu's probably fouling out. After the last game, I was really wondering how game 2 was going to look for the Clippers, because they blew their chance in game 1. They really did have a chance to walk out victors in game 1, and they blew it. They blew like a 20-point lead, right? And I figured, did the Nuggets figure something out, or are the Clippers going to be like, okay, we did this right in game 1, let's build on that? And they came out in the first quarter, and if I'm being honest, I was like, oh my God, what team am I watching? After the first quarter, the Nuggets were getting out in transition. They were getting everything that they wanted, and it looked like the Clippers just had no answer for it. And they tightened up the screws in that second half, but Kawhi Leonard, man, he had 1 missed shot at halftime, and he finished with 15 of 19. Like, I don't know what else to say, bro. When he has games like this, it reminds you that, like, he's a real deal Hall of Famer when it's said and done, and he's not going to have nearly the amount of accolades as you'd want. Yeah, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, I believe. Finals MVP twice, I think. But overall, he's not going to have the regular season awards. He's not going to have the All-Star appearances, the All-NBAs, the All-Defenses, simply because of how much time he's missed. But games like this are what I'm going to point to when my kids are like, you know, Dad, this Kawhi Leonard guy's got like, 6 All-Star appearances and 2 All-Defenses? Why is he in the Hall of Fame? And I'm going to be like, yo, he was real deal. He just couldn't stay on the court, man. Now I want to go talk about the Nuggets. Late game was a different coaching strategy from Adelman. In game 1, we saw them ride with Russ. Russ was all right today. I didn't think Russ was really that bad. He made 2 threes late where I was like, okay. 1 from the corner, and I forget where the other one, maybe the wing. Either way, Russ hit 2 threes, and I was like, okay, Russ is going to stay in long term. And then Michael Porter Jr. was there, and Michael Porter Jr. was even playing well. Remember when I said that Michael Porter Jr., when his shot's falling and when he's scoring actively, he does other things like rebound well? Well, today Michael Porter Jr.'s shot was falling, and guess what he did really well? Rebounded the hell out of the basketball. It's six offensive rebounds by himself. 6. He kind of played the Russell Westbrook role in this one. And in game 1, we saw Russell Westbrook be the guy that crashed the glass and got them second chance opportunities. Today, that was Michael Porter Jr. But you kind of also got a Russell Westbrookism out of Michael Porter Jr. Remember how everyone always talks about Russ, the tides back and forth with Russell Westbrook? It's a pendulum. You're going to get great Russell Westbrook play, and you're going to get 8 turnover Russell Westbrook play. It's the same thing with Michael Porter Jr. While, yes, he had 15 and 15, he hurt himself, but earlier in that play, he caught the rebound and was looking to pass and just, I don't even know what he did. It looked like he went to pass it and it just fell. I don't know. I spun that back like twice while I was on commercial, and I was like, what happened? He just lost the ball. And ultimately it led to a Norman Powell 3 that gave the Clippers the lead, I think. And, yeah, it really felt like a weird end-of-game sequence there, because I really didn't know who they were going to go to, but I guess that shoulder, elbow, arm injury for MPJ might clear things up long-term if it turns out to be a serious issue. Another real key thing that I'm noticing in this series is the Nuggets can't buy a damn free throw. Guys, this is like the 3rd game in the playoffs already where I've said free throws are costing you the game. Free throws are losing you games, missing them. Who was the other one that I said that about? I forget. I can't remember off the top of my head. Again, it's 1 a.m. I can't really remember, but free throws, man. The Nuggets shot 14 to 22 from the line. 8 misses, they lose by 3. You make 5 of those 8 misses, guess what? You gotta win, theoretically. Obviously, it doesn't work out 1-to-1. Butterfly effect, all that nonsense, who cares? Do the math. This was a game where I felt that the Nuggets kind of should have won, but like so many things went wrong for them late game that were just like beyond me. Jokic had a turnover where I think it was Peyton Watson cutting baseline, and he tried to throw a lob to him. He sailed it and went out of bounds. Like, that's a bad turnover. Multiple times where Jokic was going to post up, and as soon as he turns, as soon as his back goes to the basket, here comes Chris Dunn from behind to poke it free. Multiple plays like that. Chris Dunn was all hustle today, and it was a great Chris Dunn game. Chris Dunn even had a play where he had a deflection on a Jamal Murray pass that sent it to the backcourt. Like, those are things that don't show up in box scores, but you think about it, he gets that pass off. They're running a set with like 14 seconds left on the shot clock that you have to defend. But he gets that deflection, sends it into the backcourt. Jamal Murray's got to go pick it up. He comes back across that half-court line. There's 7 seconds left. That's more rushed offense. Jokic had a triple-double, but again, 7 turnovers is way too many for a player of his caliber. And I'm sure he's going to have more higher turnover games just because that's how the Clippers play. They want to turn you over. But 7's a lot, and I'm sure he'll also adjust, and he may have a 0 turnover, 9 assist game or something like that soon. But Denver got what they wanted in the first half. They hit a couple of threes. Jokic had a time in that game where he had more threes attempted than any other shot, which is weird for Jokic because, you know, he likes to hover the lane and get his little push shots and floaters and hook shots in there. But instead, he had like 5 or 6 threes at halftime. Yeah, Jokic just couldn't buy a free throw. But in terms of like things that the Nuggets did well, they out-rebounded the Clippers. They did 50 to 32 on the glass. They made 1 less 3 than the Clippers. Or no, they made 1 more 3 than the Clippers. I'm reading that wrong. They made 1 more 3 than the Clippers and shot a better percentage at 44% to the Clippers 38%. So they shot more efficient, made 1 more 3, and out-rebounded them, and they lost. Turnovers, missed free throws. Those are my keys of the game for the Nuggets, man. Turnovers, missed free throws. That's the story. This may sound random, but I was recording a video that's coming out tomorrow. There's a free promo for that video. It's baseball related. If you're a basketball guy, you're probably not interested. Just kidding. There's definitely got to be some rollover between NBA viewership and MLB viewership. There's got to be some basketball fans that are baseball fans too. So stay tuned if you enjoy that. Like and subscribe. Free promo for myself now. But Ben Simmons, man, I like to watch that Ben Simmons PT. He had a little stretch where I was like, all right, Ben, there we go. He had 2 points, you know, nice little A. And then in this, you know what I mean? Like Ben Simmons had a nice little run, but the Clippers are winning these games where their bench is not there. Shout out to Bogey Bogdanovic, but the guy scored 0 points. He went 0 for 5. And Bogey's best ability is his scoring ability. He can also pass a little bit. Like he had a pass down to Zubats. I remember when the Nuggets went zoned, I think to start the fourth, and Bogdanovic kind of forced them out of it. That he caught at the top of the key and just rifled one down to Zubats. It resulted in a foul and free throws for Zoo. But yeah, it's a game where the Clippers bench did nothing, and they ended up winning the game. They lost the rebound battle. They lost the three-point battle. And they had more fouls than the Nuggets did. And they ended up winning this game. And again, it's because they shot 83% at the line. They made 10 of 12. They missed 2 free throws all game comparatively to the Nuggets' 8 missed free throws. They lost the rebounding battle, but at the end of the day, they just made more shots. But also, like they were the better team today. It felt like Jamal Murray had a good game. Salute Blue Arrow. Yeah, it just felt like there was a couple of Jalen Pickett got PT. That made me happy. Shout out to the local guy, Jalen Pickett. Bogdanovic, I threw dirt on his name. He did have a nice play where Russ turned the ball over. He ended up getting it on the break and then dumping it off to DJJ for a dunk. So he did do some things. He passed the ball relatively well. It's just his shot wasn't falling today. But overall, that was a really fun game. And when Kawhi's playing like that, it just reminds you why the Clippers keep investing in him year after year to be healthy and to win them a finals. That just kind of like reignites my belief in Kawhi. Best game I've seen out of him in a while, and these 2 games today lived up to it. There was only 2 games today in the NBA slate, and they made it worth it, in my opinion. These 2 games were very fun. Talk to me down in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys enjoyed, like, subscribe. You know the deal. I'm going to go catch the game. See you guys in the next one.